The press statement adopted by the Security Council today adopted somehow the version of events submitted by General Mood. If you go to the language in which the press statement was written, you would find in it that nothing indicates that the Council is blaming the Syrian government forces for the killings and the perpetration of the massacres. On the contrary, it identifies that other elements in the picture may be responsible for what happened. The press statement says that the Security Council condemns in the strongest possible terms the killings confirmed by the United Nations observers. I am here also confirming on behalf of my government that there were killings of dozens of civilians, 114, and then in attacks that involved a series of government artillery and tank shellings on a residential neighborhood. Then the members of the Security Council also condemned the killing of civilians by shooting at close range and by severe physical abuse. Most of the killings that took place in Al-Houla are due to this kind of assassination, killing at close range, not killed due to the artillery shellings, because artillery shellings would not leave the bodies of the victims the way you saw them. Here we are talking about the Algerian killing styles in the early 90s. My government would spare no efforts whatsoever to find out the perpetrators of these massacres and to bring them to justice. I would like to add to that the Security Council should meet also to identify and call on those who are arming the terrorist groups in Syria, who are hosting them, instigating them and inciting them to violence, and protecting them, also to be brought to justice. Some members in the Council, their officials said it publicly. Some of them are permanent members. Their high-level officials said it publicly, that they would spare no effort to present and to provide the Syrian opposition with weapons, and some of them said non-lethal weapons. I don't know what does it mean. But the immediate outcome of this weaponization of the opposition resulted in the form of kidnapping the Lebanese pilgrims coming back from Iraq through Turkish territory, and in the form of suicide bombings and the infiltration by Al-Qaeda of Syrian territory. So we don't need double language in the Security Council. We need to bring everybody accountable to the justice, even though if we touch upon some permanent members. Those who have great interest in stopping violence and bringing to success the national inclusive dialogue in Syria should stop interfering in our domestic affairs, stop arming, hosting, financing, and protecting the armed terrorist groups in my country. You cannot be an arsonist and a fireman at the same time. And this is exactly, unfortunately, the case of some members in this Security Council. The Arabic, the regional, and the international dimensions of the Syrian crisis are not murky situation anymore. And everybody knows what we are talking about.
And in a related context, Assistant Permanent Representative of Russia in the UN, Alexander Bankin, questioned the claims of responsibility of the Syrian armed forces for Al-Houla massacre. In a press conference following the session of the UN Security Council, Mr. Bankin asserted that most victims were killed with knives or slaughtered very closely. They were not targeted by artillery shelling. The number of the victims counted was not compatible with the destruction that was observed in the place.
You know that it's Russian delegation who initiated this meeting, these consultations and briefing, because we were really concerned and outraged by what happened yesterday and the day before yesterday, and it clearly needed investigation before the Council could take action or react in the way it reacted now. And we are very grateful to General Mood, who agreed promptly to come and talk to us through video link, and brought us some details, at least those details available to him, which helped us. But I must tell you, since I was listening to my colleagues who spoke before me, that he used the word murky about the picture, about the circumstances which led to the unfolding events in that area. It still remains unclear what happened and what triggered what. We understand that the village, Houla village, was not under the control of the government forces. We understood that there was a local demonstration in one of the districts of this village, and allegedly firing and shelling started afterwards. It's true that General Mood established the evidence that tanks were there and heavy artillery was used there. However, he did not link directly shelling with numbers of deaths. More than that, you know that he categorized through 3 or 4 categories the causes of death, including shooting from the close range, severe physical abuse, and deaths caused by shrapnel and the artillery ordnance. It's difficult to imagine that the Syrian government would not only shell and mortar, but also use point-blank execution against 40+ women, 30+ children under age 10. We're not talking about combatants. And this is definitely the atrocity which has to be investigated.
Finally, an exhibition for the artist Muhammad Hisham Al-Khayyat was held in the Arab Cultural Center in Abu Dhabi. Our reporter visited the site and came back with reviews and the art.
Under the auspices of the Ministry of Culture, an exhibition for the artist Muhammad Hisham Al-Khayyat was held in the Cultural Center in Abu Dhabi. The exhibition included pictures and portraits of historical Damascene houses, trees, flowers, and animals.
You can see in this fair all the works I concerned, especially the old houses, by the details, all details, the colors. And because I am an architect, I concerned too much the shade and shadow, the perspective, the details, and everything. It contains the old houses.
The importance of these pictures that the printer print an old Damascene houses. He gives the very, very details in these houses that we feel that we are sitting with people who's living in that houses.
The artist Al-Khayyat is a graduate of the Faculty of Architecture. He has taken part in several exhibitions, and he is interested in documenting the old city of Damascus in his work.
And with art, we bring our bulletin to a close. For more news, log on to our website in English, www